Hello, everybody. I'm Nina Soden, urban fantasy author of the Sector C series and the Blood Angel series, and I am so excited to have K.G. Fletcher with me today. She has been dubbed the singing author. K.G. Fletcher lives in her very own frat house in Atlanta, Georgia, with her husband, Lad, and 3 sons. As a singer, songwriter in Nashville, she became the recipient of the Airplay International Award for Best New Artist, showcasing original songs at the Bluebird Cafe. She earned her BFA in theater at Valdosta State University and has traveled the world professionally as a singer and an actress, which is awesome. Who doesn't want to do that? She's currently getting to play a rock star as a backup singer. Is that correct?
Yeah.
The national tour, Remember When Rock Was Young, the Elton John tribute. That's so cool.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll have to talk to you a little bit about that as well.
Yeah.
She is a hopeless romantic, continuing her work on her original cabaret act called The Novel Romantic. And as a full-time indie artist, a particularly thrilling moment was when her Amazon best-selling romance novel, Georgia Pine, became a 2019 Maggie Award of Excellence finalist. That is awesome. I absolutely love the cover of that book.
Yes.
Okay, so KG, we know a lot about you just from your bio. You're a songwriter, you're a singer, you're an actress, you're an author, an award-winning author. How did you get started in those avenues? I mean, you're such a creative person. That is just amazing.
Oh my goodness. I've always been acting and singing since I was a child. And I've also always had a journal or a diary as a young girl. The arts have always been very near and dear to my heart. And when I married my husband, long time ago, we were both musicians. So I married a musician and we collaborated and moved to Nashville, and we were songwriters and performers. We played in all the dive bars in Nashville, and we were the struggling artists. And well, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I did a lot of theater in college. I graduated with a degree in musical theater, and my goal was Broadway. So right out of college, I moved to New York City and pounded the pavement, and it was a really cold winter that first year, and I got an offer to go perform on a Hawaiian cruise ship. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to Hawaii for a while and get out of New York in the cold winter. And I never went back to New York. I started doing ships, and then I met my husband, and then we went to Nashville, and we were songwriters together as well as performers, and we were signed to an independent label. We toured the Southeast with our band for 5 years before we started a family. We had a couple of songs on the radio, and we won a Best New Artist award with Airplay International. Once we had started having kids, we moved back to Atlanta, and we kind of scaled down things and did like the corporate scene with our band for, over a decade. Wow. And I did local theater, performed in a couple of touring shows around the Southeast with theater. And then I hooked up with my friend Craig A. Meyer, who was on Broadway for years and toured with Barry Manilow. Well, he put together his Remember When Rock Was Young show. This was, I've been with him for 11 years as one of his backup singers. And we have toured all over the world with this show that sells out everywhere we go. It's the funnest job I've ever had. But what's great is, as an indie artist, a full-time indie artist, I also write romance novels. And I was signed with a publishing company in 2016. And I just got the rights back to the first 3 books that I had with them. And so I can finally say I'm a full-time indie artist now. I'm relaunching all of my books from that publisher under my own name, KG Fletcher. And I just published my 10th book in September, and the relaunch of my last book with my publisher starts tomorrow. So it's great that I can, as a writer, you can pretty much write anywhere. I mean, you see people in coffee shops, I write on planes, trains, and automobiles when we're touring. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, I lost 57 shows this year.
Wow.
We were annihilated. So I've had a lot of time at home. I've been tweaking book covers and back matter, relaunching. I've also narrated 3 of my books in my Raining Hearts series that I would have never done this if I wasn't home for so long. But as an actor with a degree in theater, I was like, why not? So set up a little closet studio in one of my guest rooms, and I took a stab at it, and it's been really fun. It's been a really great outlet during this uncertain time. And
That's great.
2 books in my Raining Hearts series are live on ACX and Audible and iTunes. It's very strange listening to your own audiobook, but it's thrilling just the same. And book 3 should be out by the end of the year, and then I have to tackle book 4, but I'm a little nervous because my hero in that book is Scottish. I'm not real good with the dialects, so it's going to be interesting to figure that one out. But I'm going to do it. I'm not afraid. I'm going to go for it. So,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell, the singing author. So
you were saying that you have a book that you are relaunching tomorrow, yes, and that is The Nearness of You, correct?
Nearness of You. This is okay. This book has actually been published since 2017, but it was with my publisher, and I just got the rights back. So we did a little cover makeover. There was another whole thing of edits that we went through, and there's a new blurb for this one. But this is one of my favorite books that I've written out of the 10, because it's about a British supermodel, David Randall, and he's based off of my obsession with David Gandy, the British supermodel that does all the Dolce & Gabbana commercials. I'm obsessed with him. If you go on my Instagram page, every Friday I post a David Gandy picture. But this is like my homage to him, like my fantasy. The heroine in this book is actually a lounge singer in Atlanta. So, you kind of write what you know, but it's kind of my fantasy to the British supermodel. And I love this book so much. This is my reader's favorite book of mine. And I'm just thrilled that I get to relaunch it under my name and, breathe some new life into it and get it into some new readers' hands. So
read the back blurb to us so we can get a little feel for that book.
She's got the voice, he's got the body. When their music and fashion worlds collide, will their wildest dreams come true? Lauren Rose always imagined her life in showbiz, singing classic love songs in posh hotel lounges by night and teaching theater to kids by day. She wonders if her big break will ever come. Enter a charming British supermodel, and she's starstruck for sure. David Randall needs a break. Solely focused on his successful modeling career for over a decade, he shifts gears and channels all his energy into the launch of his high fashion debut cologne, Drive. But after arriving in Atlanta to attend his sister's wedding, he's propelled off course by a beautiful lounge singer performing at the hotel where he's staying. When David invites Lauren to New York to see him rev up for a fashion shoot to promote his new cologne, he must steer clear of his uptight assistant who tries to put the brakes on his newfound happiness. And with her stunning Brit impossible to resist, Lauren knows she could potentially be a distraction and derail the success of the biggest launch of his career. Can the celebrity couple navigate the precarious speedway of fame and fashion, or will they crash and burn?
Ooh, intriguing.
Yes.
Okay, so if you are watching this video and you would like a chance to win a free autographed copy of The Nearness of You, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and comment below. You have to comment below if you want a chance to win. And the drawing will be a week from the day that this video goes live. All right.
Awesome. Good luck.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I'm excited for the winner to get that and read a little bit more of what sounds like a very steamy, good romance.
Yes, my romances are, my readers call them sweet and spicy.
Oh.
They're intended for 18 and up. I do have some language, and it's for mature audiences. And I do have some sexy situations. Okay. But it's more about the characters than anything. Yeah, my books are very character driven, and the settings are always dreamy and magical, and check it out.
Very exciting. And for those of you who do not win, because there is only one free copy, I will post links in the description below so that you can find all of her books, not just this one, but all of her books on Amazon and anywhere else they are available online. All right, so let's jump in and get to know you a little bit better in your process. So I know that you are an artist. I follow those same paths. So I've done theater and film and writing and directing and all of that. So I know how that creative mind works. But I know every author is different when it comes to their writing process. Tell me a little bit about your writing process. Are you a pantster? Are you a plotter? How does that work for you? And how do you find time? Because you have kids at home and you're with the pandemic. How are you finding the time to write?
Well, my boys are in college. Okay. So my life is a little more not as chaotic as it was when they were all here. Yeah. I do have, my middle son is actually graduating from the University of Georgia December 18th, and he's moving home to go to law school. So we will have one back, but they're great. I'm a pantster. I don't sleep a lot because this is going to sound really strange, but I mean, my characters, like, they talk to me. Like I hear them. I get ideas, but the main influence in my writing is music. I am drawn, I'm a lyricist. So if I hear a song and the lyrics speak to me, I mean, I have my own film reel going in my head of, you know, back in the day when the MTV videos, and I was fascinated by that. And but that happens to me even now. I'll hear a song and there will be a video reel in my head. And 9 times out of 10, one of my books has come from hearing a song. Like The Nearness of You is the name of a song. It's an old jazz classic. Carmichael and Hoagie or somebody like that. I can't remember the name exactly, but Norah Jones on her album Come Away With Me has a rendition of The Nearness of You on that album, and I've always loved it. I sing it in my cabaret act. It's a beautiful song that my heroine in The Nearness of You sings this song in the opening scene. And not all my books have musicians in them or celebrities in them. but I always have a Spotify playlist for my readers to listen to. It's in the back matter of every book. My process is very music driven. I have playlists that I listen to. It's funny though, when I am writing, I can't listen to my playlists because of the lyrics. I get distracted because I want to listen to the lyrics. So I have to have instrumental music when I write, or silence. But when I'm walking or, on an airplane, or I need inspiration, I'll pop in that playlist, and it always gets me through like a slump or writer's block. I have a series called Raining Hearts. My 4th book in that series just went live in September. Well, Raining Hearts, this whole series, the titles of the books are based off of a U2 song. And I was on the road singing with Almost Elton John. It was the middle of winter. We were in a van going to our next venue. It was very cold, and I'm listening to, some U2 songs, and this song came on, and every lyric, I'm like, that's a book title. Oh my gosh, that's a book title. So there's 4 books in this series. It's from one song, One Tree Hill. Raining Hearts is a lyric in there, but it was raining, like rain coming down from the sky. Mine is raining like a king or a queen. The first book is Run to the Sea. The second book is Stars Fall from the Sky. Third book, A Sun So Bright. And the 4th book is I'll See You Again. If you go listen to that U2 song, you'll hear
all in there.
It's all in there. And so that entire series was inspired by one song. So it's crazy. That's how my mind works. I'm attracted to like poetry and beautiful lyrics, and I when I hear the right one, a whole book can come to mind. So it's crazy. I know.
That's awesome.
But I am a pantser. It starts off like that, and then I have no idea where I'm going. But it ends up, there's always a happily ever after. I mean, that's romance. So it's very satisfying.
I love that. That's awesome. All right. So next question. I love the fact that you could tell me that, I'm a pantser as well. I do plot. I do a little bit of outlining, but very minimal. Most of my books start as just, I have an idea, type.
Mm-hmm.
So I love hearing when other people have that same process or similar process. When did you publish your first book? And 2, when did you consider yourself an author for the first time?
Oh, wow. My first book was published in 2016 through a publisher. I've been writing my entire life, but I didn't really consider myself an author until I was published, until I saw my book, on Amazon or Barnes and Noble, that was pretty thrilling when that happened. But I do consider myself a storyteller. As a songwriter back in the Nashville days, we were telling stories through music. So, it's kind of the same thing, but I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm a storyteller, whether it be through a song or a published book. So, yeah. But as an author, definitely when I was first published, I could, say I am an author. So I don't know.
Okay. So tell me, what did it feel like that first time you got your book and you unboxed it and you saw your book in print? What did that feel like for you?
Well, of course I cried.
Yeah.
It was thrilling. There's nothing, the feeling of getting that box delivered to your house and you're ripping it open and it's like, no, and there's your book, in there, and to hold it and flip through it. I mean, it's an amazing feeling. an amazing accomplishment. And just to be able to do it consistently for the past 4 years has been, I have friends that are like, how do you're very prolific. How are you churning out these books this quickly? And I'm really not. I average about 3 books a year. I know people that do 3 books a couple of months, rapid release. I can't do that. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool feeling to hold that book in your hands and see it for the first time.
So you churn out roughly 3 books a year. Mm-hmm. Wow. I know you don't think that's very fast, but for those of us who don't, it is fast. Yeah. Now I work full time, so it's a little bit different, but tell me, how does that process look like for you? From I have an idea to it's published, how long does that typically take you? And what is your editing process like?
Well, from, the concept to going live, it averages about, I want to say 5 months, 4 to 5 months. I'm really bad about giving myself deadlines. And I kick myself every time. I'm like, why are you going for that month? You need another month at least. There have been many times where I've kicked myself, but I still get it done. I'm very hard on myself and I work to get it done. But coming up on this new year, especially after losing so many gigs this year and having all this time and really concentrating more on audiobooks, I'm not sure what 2021 is going to look like as far as new books. There will be something new, but I've kind of given myself a little bit of a break, even though these audiobooks are killing me. I mean, no matter what I'm doing, I'm giving myself self-imposed deadlines that are ridiculous and I need to stop. But I'm very meticulous and I'm really hard on myself in the editing process too. I have a wonderful editor. I have an amazing critique partner, and I have a beta team that's phenomenal. And editing is my absolute favorite part of the whole process. I know a lot of people hate it, but I love it. Getting feedback from my critique partner, my betas, and especially my editor, who's a longtime editor, Vicki Burkholder. She's amazing and she makes me a better writer. So I am thrilled when I get back her first round of edits and there's red margins and comments and all this. And I'm like, yes, let's get this done. I love it. And I don't know if it's because I'm an actor and I'm so used to criticism and rejection but you would know as an actor, I mean, it only makes you better.
Absolutely.
So as an author, the editing process only makes me better. So I welcome it with open arms. And I love it so much because the after product of going through all those different edits, it's amazing the outcome that you have at the end from where you started at the beginning. I love it. So
I remember the first time I got my first manuscript edited and it came back bloody. I mean, just covered in red. I was like, I had to put it down. I put it down for about a month before picking it back up.
Oh, wow.
And ever since then, I enjoy that process. I understand it better, but I wasn't expecting that at first. Yeah. And as your first manuscript, you're like, I poured everything into this. It's my heart and my soul and my life and my blood and blood, sweat, and tears. Yeah. And then you get it back and you're just like, oh God, they hated it. But that's not really the case. So you're right. If you can look at it with open eyes and just say, this is designed not to change it, but to improve it. I agree.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful process.
Yeah.
But to say it's my favorite part of the process, no, probably not, just because it's the longest, hardest part for me. But
yeah.
Okay. So it still amazes me. 5 months from concept to publication. That's pretty fantastic. What is your latest book? Like what is the one you most recently wrote? And tell me how you feel your writing has changed since the very first one you wrote.
Oh, wow. Well, my most recent book is called I'll See You Again, and it's book 4 in the Raining Hearts series. And this is the book that has a Scottish rock star hero. And it's a small town romance, opposites attract, a small town wedding planner, and this rock star comes into town to try out one of his new songs in the local pub. A lot of rockers do that. They'll just show up in a small town pub to try a new song, and word gets out and the pub gets crazy. And it's a rock star, a lot of backstage stuff that I know very well because of my tour life. And it was a hard book to write because of the Scottish hero and the dialect. And I did a lot of research, and it helps that my critique partner has a Scottish background, and she was instrumental in helping me with some of the sayings and phrasing. And my first book, I struggled with POV, point of view, because I go back and forth. It's duo, POV. So it's, one chapter's the female, one chapter's the male.
All of your books do that?
All my books do that. Yeah. And in my very first published book, my editor really, really showed me better ways in my chapters to do that. And I think since my first book to my 10th book, I've really streamlined that process. So it's just innate now. I don't struggle with it as much. I don't know. I just, reading your first book, when I relaunched it I think it relaunched again in February. It's called Unexpected. And when I was going through it for the relaunch, you cringe and you're like, wow, and back then I was so proud and this is awesome. And, but it's great that you can go back and clean things up, and that's what I did for the relaunch. And it's still near and dear to my heart, but I'm absolutely, the more books you write, the better you get. And, like I said, it's more streamlined now, and I don't have as many roadblocks as I used to. Although I do get writer's block sometimes, but that's a given for any author. But yeah, I've come a long way, but I really give thanks to my editor for that, and my critique partner, because they've just, I can't imagine doing a book launch without them. They're my team, my teammates, my tribe.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So do you have any advice for would-be writers out there that may be watching this and are thinking, I really love the romance genre? What would you advise them in how to get into that?
Well, I'm a huge reader, and you need to be reading all the time, and follow your favorites, follow them on social media, emulate what they're doing. Like, if I follow a lot of authors, and if I like some of the, teasers they're making or the promo they're doing, or, I might try to make mine look like that, it's flattering to authors when, other authors look to them for, I have emailed some of my favorite authors, and I'm always surprised. 9 times out of 10, they will email me back and answer a question. Don't be afraid to reach out to people that are already in the business, I love giving back, and if someone has a question, happy to answer. It's we're all in this together. As an indie artist, you depend on your peers, and it's amazing what people will do for you if you just ask. It's like my mom always said, if you don't ask, you'll never know.
That's true.
Absolutely. It never hurts to ask. And what's the worst that could happen?
Yep.
You might not get an answer. But in this, I've found that in this industry, people are very willing to give advice and, to promote on their websites or in a newsletter. I mean, just ask and you'd be surprised. It's a wonderful community.
It really is. I mean, I have been amazed with that as well. Just all of the authors that I have met throughout the years, and the advice and the well-wishing. I mean, everybody wants everybody else to succeed, which is amazing, especially within that indie community. Mm-hmm. So you've heard it here. If you have a question that we have not discussed, comment below so KG can respond and answer your questions. This is a great venue to do that. And I will also share her social media links in the description below. So follow her and see what she's doing so that you know when her books are coming out and what's available. All right.
And I always post if we're going to be in a city near you performing in our show, and I can get you comp tickets or backstage passes.
There you go.
Follow me.
All right. So I always end all of my interviews in honor of James Lipton. I do his famous Inside the Actors Studio questionnaire with all of my authors. So if you've seen it before, you're an actress, you probably have, then you know what's coming up. If you haven't, then it's more fun for me, but either way, there are no wrong answers to these 10 questions. Just respond with what comes to your mind when I ask them.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
All right. What is your favorite word?
Love.
What is your least favorite word?
Can't.
What turns you on?
Book boyfriends.
What turns you off?
Negativity.
What sound or noise do you love?
Music.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Leaf blowers.
What is your favorite curse word? What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Baker.
What profession would you not want to try?
Garbage collector.
And final question, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well done.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, KG, thank you so much for doing this interview with me, for spending some time with me this morning and answering all of my many questions.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yes, absolutely.
To all of you viewers out there, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and definitely comment below for your chance to win an autographed copy of, there we go, The Nearness of You. I am so excited for whoever wins this book, and definitely check it out. If you don't win, it's okay. They are available online. So check out the link in the description below and order your copy. If you just can't wait to find out if you win, order a copy today.
Yes.
All right, everybody, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me and watching this interview.
Yay.